on this, I'm joined by Mark Schamel, who is a partner at the law firm of Womble Dickinson. He's also an adjunct professor at George Washington University School of Law. Great to have you with us, Mark.
Thank you.
Can you just tell us, obviously before this resolution, what is the current system for prosecuting sexual crimes during conflict?
There's a couple options. The first option is you can bring them back to the home country. So if the member of ISIS was an American citizen captured on the field and repatriated, the United States could prosecute him. There's a number of criminal statutes that we could prosecute: aiding and abetting terrorists, conspiracy, inciting riots. There's a number of federal statutes to prosecute. I think probably the better way, and it's a little bit problematic because, as you've alluded to already, you've got the Security Council from the UN with the permanent voting members, and China and Russia, I think in 2014, really don't want to see the ICC, the International Criminal Court of The Hague, come in and take over. This is exactly what The Hague is for. This is exactly how The Hague could deal with some of these non-state actors. In England, for example, the UK said, we don't want back, I think they call them the Beatles, a couple of these young men who went over and joined ISIS, because they said they turned their back on the UK, that we don't want them, we don't want to bring them here. We certainly, as Americans, don't want a lot more folks at Guantanamo Bay. We've got enough problems with that. So ideally, either one of the state actors can refer it to the ICC, or you can get the Security Council to make the referral, and the question then becomes, what do China and Russia do, because they have so many interests in what's going on in Syria.
So does this resolution really do anything to bring justice to victims of these horrible crimes, including, again, like the activist that we just heard, Nadia Murad?
I hate to be pessimistic and say it, but I mean, the reality is there ever justice for these victims? I mean, you go back to the Serbian conflict, you go through what's happened all throughout Africa. I think 10 different open investigations the ICC has run since its inception. There's really never going to be justice. I mean, you can't unrape these women. You can't, untraffic them. You can't do the things. I mean, these are lives ruined. The question is, does the ICC have some teeth? Can we really do something to make a referral? Because the idea is the world should be thinking, hey, wait a second, we don't want to get involved in these kinds of things because we're actually, held accountable. And I think right now there's a question about accountability.
So the language, as you touched on here, left out a positive reference to the International Criminal Court's work in prosecuting these crimes. What exactly was the sticking point for the U.S. on this? Well,
again, without making it political about the U.S., this question is a sticking point for the United States or a sticking point for this administration? This administration, in America First and some of the things, the rhetoric you hear that come out of it, it's very hard to see them ever ceding any sort of control to an international criminal body, right? We were a signatory, we're no longer a signatory. I think that there's a question about whether or not the United States and this current administration is ever going to let the ICC or the UN, frankly, do the things that it should do and that would be best for the world. Other countries may be more willing, and one could hope that we would follow that lead. But the idea here is to sort of go through and try to pick just a couple people out to prosecute them for what is, war crimes. I mean, these are war crimes by state actors. And although ISIS was not technically a state, these are war crimes. I mean, you have genocide. They're wiping out entire groups of people. They're wiping out. They're destroying villages. They're enslaving entire groups of people. Women from a particular ethnic group are being enslaved. There's something that needs to be done more here than just prosecuting individuals.
All right, Mark Schamel, great to have you with us. Really appreciate you laying that out for us. Thanks for that.